It's been an amazing show so far, but the show is not over. We're still here serving you what you need for this beautiful, beautiful Tuesday morning. And right about now, we have a parenting conversation. I have with me Osezusi Bolodeoku, an educational psychologist, international behavior analyst, and founder of the FOS ABBA Center and Creative Hub. Now today, she's here to share insights beyond the therapy room. Now, how parents can actively support their children, with learning, with development at home. Welcome back to Wake Up Nigeria. At this point, you're literally a part of the home.
I'm always
You're part
here.
of us here.
I love being here.
I love being here. Of course, we love having you here as well.
Yeah.
And I always love how so easy and laid back and relaxed you actually, you just come, there's just something about your aura. It's just like, okay, yes, we're home and we're doing what we know to do, but what we love to do. Amazing. Yeah. So now today we're talking about parents and how they can support their children now beyond the therapy room, right?
Yeah.
Of course, because charity begins at home, and the first point of learning for any child is the home. So now when it comes to learning, when it comes to development, what would you say is the major, or rather the first major thing that parents need to be ensuring that their kids are learning from home?
Yeah, okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So the thing is, therapy is only about a few hours a week.
True.
So, and kids are pretty much with their parents or with their caregiver
most of the time.
Very so true. If they receive therapy and you are not like reiterating or following up on therapy at home, then it would have a very little effect, right? So parents should understand that while the child is having therapy or not, they can at home from their daily living, not that they have to do something extraordinary, they can as well help their children gain skills that they want the children to gain. Okay. So things like bedtime or things like even having our baths in the morning. Okay. We wake up in the morning, we know that we have to brush our teeth and we know that we have to have our baths, right? You can make that a fun activity and you can break it down. You can have like a schedule by their bedside that says this to this time you're doing this to this time you're doing this. So the child is already aware and the child has structure. Yes, structure matters so much, especially to the children we work with. Yes, the child has structure and then the child is able to follow through. And when you interact with the child, all the things you do, like all the Google Gaga things we do, all the, that interaction, shared enjoyment, shared engagement goes a long way in helping that child develop communication skills, right? So things like that we can do. But being present, being aware that therapy is not only for the classroom, it's not only for the centers or clinics. Yes. Understanding that is very important.
Okay, so now since you touched on therapy, let me ask this question, which I think is actually very key. Now, a lot of people, especially in this part of the world, don't necessarily see therapy as a thing. Even for adults, how much more for kids?
I know.
Do you understand?
I know.
So now, how do we tackle that type of situation in the first place? And at what level? When would you know that your child needs to go in for therapy?
Okay, speaking of therapy, we have different kinds of therapy. Like you said, I would always be on the progressive side in the sense that, we're making progress. At least we even know what therapy is. We're not saying, God forbid, it's not, the person's not mad or something. When it comes to the kind of therapy we provide, which is applied behavior analysis therapy, is a science-based therapy that is really based on the motivation of the child to help the child acquire skills that would help them navigate their everyday life. Okay. So when you see that your child is not communicating, communication is not just by vocalizing, right? Communication is you knowing that I want this, even if I point at it, you understand that I'm communicating. If your child cannot communicate in the social context of things, then you know that they need therapy. Okay. If your child developmental milestones, you see that they're not meeting up to their developmental milestones. When they need to crawl, they're not crawling. When they need to walk, they're not walking, or they're walking on tippy toes. You're being observant enough to understand that, okay, this is not witch people, this is not village people.
This is actually something that needs to go to therapy. Okay, so now I'm going to hang on what you said about when your child is meant to crawl, they're not crawling. So a lot of times, I know I've seen posts and even besides spoken to people, and they're like, you know what, the timeline for one child is not the timeline for another child.
Absolutely.
You understand? Fine. Don't come to my house and be comparing and say,
Absolutely.
oh no, at this
Absolutely.
age my child was crawling. Do you understand?
Absolutely.
So now how do we know that, okay, you know what, this child is not just in their own time and is going to get there eventually?
And you know, that's why there's a range.
Okay.
There's always a between from now to now, and that could accommodate even the early and the slow.
Very true.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So when you see that the time has passed, so take for example, I would say a child that is tiptoeing, a toddler that is tiptoeing, and the toddler is just sometimes does it for fun. But when you see this toddler does it consistently for 6 months, not that they're just doing it for fun, now you know that there's a consign here.
Okay.
When your children are naturally very active, play is the language of a child.
True.
So they will want to play, they want to move around. However, when you see that it's affecting their learning, telling 5-year-old boys to sit still is impossible.
It's a chore.
It's a chore. But amongst the 5-year-old boys, even if they can't sit still, there are some that can sit for at least, so let's say 5 times 2, for at least 3-4 minutes. So when you see a child that cannot sit still at all, and they do not understand the language of sitting still, then you understand that, okay, perhaps this, it's not like you're expecting them to. You look at other children, there's a wide range of other things you're looking at before.
All right. So what
a parent always knows, though.
Knows that there's something off.
A parent
right?
always.
There's also always that
a
sixth
parent
sense.
always knows.
Okay.
Yeah,
So what
yeah.
are kids that are destructive? Because the other day on social media, literally watching a video of a lady talking about how her kids literally has broken like the first TV, the second TV, the third television. So would you say aggression in that regard is also associated with certain age range, or is that something that needs to be checked in therapy?
Every behavior is communication. Every behavior is communicating something. So what is that child trying to communicate? And before, like last week, I was saying that a tantrum, an aggravated tantrum that is not de-escalated can lead to a meltdown. So before the child starts destroying things, I mean, how did they get there? What were they? What did they want that they had to destroy, and what were the things that you put in place?
So what are the questions that parents should really be asking their kids when they notice strange behavior?
The questions you should be asking is actually keeping short and observing your child.
Okay.
Because your child really does not know what's going on in their body. They cannot explain the behaviors.
Times, yes.
They may not have the language to tell you the big feelings they're feeling. So you really have to observe. And then when the child is calmer, you then give the child the language. Was that overwhelming? Did you feel sad? You know,
So just asking questions that help them
feel.
Oh, talk about the way they feel about things.
How did that feel for you? I know that there's a lot of communication on feelings. Like right now, parents talk about feelings instead of smacking. I mean, that's the world we're in right now.
So now, would you actually say there's a balance to speaking and smacking, or would you say no to smacking totally?
I would absolutely no to smacking, because there are other ways. Why would you want to smack? Because what's your goal? I always ask parents, what's your goal?
So quickly, before we go, because we have to go now, let's talk about how parents can learn now. It's very important we actually learn this thing. So how can we do that?
So everything we've really been talking about, it's all on the grounds that yes, we can teach these children, and that's why at first, ABA Center, we are starting our training. Our ABATS training, applied behavior analysis technicians. And parents, that's not just for therapists, it's not for just teachers, it's for parents as well. Parents that want to understand the science of ABA to use to help their children acquire skills.
Okay, amazing. I think you're doing really well, because I mean, it's not enough to just say, oh, parents should do this, ask these questions, do these things, right?
No.
We need to also know that parents can also learn these things.
They can't do it alone.
And you guys are here to hold their hands and take them through it. Thank you so much for being here with us. It's always such a pleasure.
Always a pleasure too.
All right, so now it's actually time to check out what we have happening in the kitchen. I hope you've not had breakfast.
I haven't.
You haven't, so we have breakfast.
I know what's in store here.
you know how it goes now.
That's why I like
know how we
coming,
roll.
you know?
All right, amazing. So actually, we're going to be heading over into the kitchen right now. Let's go.
All right, then, let's go.
Room Chef Flora.